am here to talk to you about becoming a certified tester. And before I start, I just want to thank you all for coming. I know, the weather has been very, very challenging, so kudos to you for braving the weather. Okay, so this is my topic today, and I want to talk about why it's important to have some sort of certification, any certification. But since we're mostly testers here, I'm going to talk to you mostly about getting foundation level testing certification. So I was taught that whenever I do a presentation, I have to do a like the 3 W's and 1 H, which is what, why, who, and how. Usually there's a 4 W, but since I'm not, I skipped the where here, so we're just going to talk about what, why, who, and how. A little intro on myself, and also the impact and skills gained from getting that certification. Let's see. I have to do this. Okay. A little bit about me. I'm a QA engineer at GO-JEK. And I have 3.5 years experience in the field. I started out being a software developer, but then I chose to be a QA. But I still do development here and there, just personal projects that I push to my GitHub. So and I have that ISQA VCTFL certification. So you can find me in LinkedIn. I push some code sometimes in GitHub, and also I like to solve problems in HackerRank. My points are very low right now. I just have 500 points, but it's nice to basically solve problems and share your solutions throughout different developers out there in the world. I think Indonesian developers. Last time I checked, I think we're pretty high up there. Whenever we solve problems, they'll give you like a rank on like which countries solve the most problems, and I think Indonesia is up there, which is good. Okay, so first question: how many of you have testing certifications? One. Awesome, great. Cool. Any certifications is fine. IDL or PMP. If you're a project manager, I heard that people take PMP. Okay, so for those of you who took the test, how many of you can solve this problem? So I'll read it out loud for the people that maybe is... Okay, I think there's a monitor there. Okay. So I'll read it out loud. One of the fields in a form, like a text box, which accepts numeric values between 18 to 25. Identify the invalid equivalence class. Invalid equivalence class. You are correct, sir. Good job. So the answer is 17. So, why do I have this question for you? First, it's not to basically tell, oh, okay, so you cannot solve this problem. No, but it's more like I want to dive into why the certification is good for you. It's because if you do have the certification, you might be able to answer this question in like that. And also, I'm not going to dive into like the different black box testing techniques that's usually taught in the certification. This is more like a black box testing technique where, if you're doing black box testing, there's like equivalence partitioning, there's boundary value analysis. So this is one of the questions that they'll ask you in the exam. So what is the testing certification in general, and who maintains it, who holds it, So what it is, it's an internationally recognized certification, and I took mine from an organization called ISQA, and they, you have to be tested. You have to go through an exam to be certified, and once you get that certification, you'll have a legitimized certificate saying that you've mastered some of the key concepts of testing in general, and software methodologies, all that good stuff. So that's what it is. And usually people start from foundation level, which I took. And once you pass the foundation level, you can go up to like advanced level, intermediate level, and so on. So why do people take it? I think my answer while I was taking it is because I want to set myself apart from other thousands of QAs out there in the world. And once you have that certification, you'll basically be in the ISTQB database. So you're able to search your name in their database, and poof, your name is there. So if people ever want to search you, you're basically recognized as a certified tester. Also, I learned a lot of testing techniques while I was learning the preparation material. So they cover all like how do you do white box testing, how do you do black box testing, and the different techniques in black box testing. There's a number of them that they cover as well. So that helped me in the job that I did before GO-JEK, even right now at GO-JEK, and also it sets me apart from other QAs. Also, like if you're new in the field, you don't know like the number of methodologies that they have in software development lifecycle, that would help you as well to gain some confidence in your field. So, who usually takes this exam? Test analysts, QAs, software developer, engineer, and test, SDETs. Now, even software developers, I've heard that they actually took this testing certification as well. And how we go about it going forward, if you do want to take this certification, is you basically go to the ISTQB website and register your name to have your name be prepared. If you set your date, you set your country of origin, like where you're from, and then they'll search the location that they usually have for conducting an ISTQB exam. And of course, you do have to study hard for this exam, because I've heard some people struggle during the exam as well, and I think it's because of the how they view the exam. Maybe I do this every day, so I can solve it. But really, their material is very extensive. So obviously, with any certifications, there's a lot of benefits to it, and everyone has their own reasons, has their own benefits. But I'm going to talk to you about how it actually benefited me in my career. So if you're doing automation testing, you're doing white box testing, you're doing manual testing, I feel like anything, before you automate something, you have to be able to know how to manually test it. And you have to know the product. So before automation testing, we usually do black box testing, just to figure out like what kind of inputs do this text box take, and what are the like boundaries that we need to basically say that, oh, this test is not a passing. So if you look here, before I took the exam, I don't even know that we have different techniques under black box testing. Like I just know black box testing, but I never knew that there's a specific technique. Like if you were to test a text box, like what would be the best technique to make you more an efficient QA? Like what would be the best technique for you to be able to come up with test cases quickly? So they'll cover that in the exam preparation, which I found it useful. And then also like fundamentals of testing. Having like a standard of practice on testing things. How do we say you're moving up in your career? You started out as a QA, and now you're a QA lead. Okay, so now you have to prepare for a release. Like, how do you go about in actually preparing a test plan for a release? And how do you document a bug? For example, what parameters do you have to put in that Jira ticket? If you're using Jira or any other tools out there like Trello. Like, what do you put to make that bug informative as possible? So they'll teach you on how to do that. And actually, when I was studying this and also working at the same time, I tried to implement that knowledge so that I sort of studied and also use it in my work as well. And best of all, if you do pass the exam, it's internationally recognized. So say you want to apply for a job in the US, for example. Most people would know, CTFL, what CTFL certification is, or okay, so you passed an ISTQB exam. That's kudos to you. So it gives you a different level of confidence on what your role is as a QA. You'll know like the different terms and jargons of, say, regression testing. Everyone has their own understanding of what regression testing is, but if you do take the exam and prep for it, you'll know what it is really and a standardized term for it. And best of all, you get to query your name and then see that, okay, it's in their website, like I passed the exam. And it's for life as well. So once you pass a foundation level exam, it's not going to be expired. So I, for anyone that, going to go and going to move forward with taking the exam, good luck to you. And if you have any questions, let me know. I realize that this is a very, very high level presentation on testing exams in general. But if you'd like, me to cover a more in-depth talk about how can we study for the exam and what are the tips on having a passing grade for the exam, I'll be happy to answer your questions. That's it.
Okay. Thank you Mbak Mila for very interesting topic. Jadi kita mau buka sesi untuk tanya jawab dan kali ini kita akan ngambil tiga penanya dulu.
Penanya dulu ya.
Is there anyone?
Emang nggak boleh nanya? Boleh dong.
Oke, Mas Tegar.
Ya, Mas Tegar. Pertanyaannya di sini di mana dan berapa?
Oh iya.
Oke, pertanyaan pertama di sini di mana dan berapa?
Di mana dan berapa?
Iya. Oke.
Pertanyaan kedua.
Kedua. Mungkin dari sebelah sini ada yang mau nanya kan agak jauh dari sana. Ada yang kurang jelas? Gak ada? Oh iya, Mas. Oke, gimana? Apa? Kita sambung dulu.
Islet pertama kan jawabannya 17. Pertanyaan cuma simpel, kenapa dia 17?
Yang pertanyaan pertama tadi
adalah kenapa sih 17 gitu?
Jawabannya kenapa 17?
Susah penting. Oke, dua pertanyaan, satu lagi.
Cowok semua dari tadi yang nanya ya.
Iya,
Cewek
ya,
dong,
maklum lah, Mas.
Hah?
Udah
Iya
tahu
kan?
lah alasannya
Iya.
kenapa saya.
Karena yang mau presentasikan wanita. Ya,
Iya.
silakan.
Mau nanya gimana nerapin foundation level in agile?
Oke, bagaimana menerapkan foundation level di Agile? Oh,
Agile.
super sekali pertanyaannya. Oke, terima kasih Mbak. Oke,
3 pertanyaan.
tiga pertanyaan. Mau langsung dijawab Mbak Mila?
Ya.
Pertanyaan pertama dulu, Mas Tegar. How much is the exam, right? And then where? Okay, so the question is, the answer is, you have to go to the website, and then they change places every time. So it's an online exam. But when you register for the exam, they basically trying to assign you as a proctor. Proctor tuh ini apa? Kayak pengawas ujian gitu. Because it's an online exam, so they want to make sure that you don't Google stuff. Gitu. Yeah.
Gak bisa nyontek ya Mbak?
Gak
ya?
bisa nyontek sayangnya. Yeah. And I think I spent about $200 for the exam. Yeah, so I didn't have my company to sponsor it. But if you can, that would be great. That would be a good investment. Okay, and then
Kenapa tuh
next
gimana?
question. Okay,
Iya, kenapa
I need a
tuh?
whiteboard sih. Mungkin di situ aja kali ya.
Iya.
Yeah. So, invalid doang. Yang bukan di dalam. Terus tadi, so I'll repeat the question, yeah. So define the invalid equivalence partitioning, between these data. So you have an option of A 17, and then B 19, C 21, D 24. So equivalence partitioning is this. So you have certain numbers that can be inputted in a text box. So what would make this text box fail? Say you're given 18 to 25. So the invalid number is 17, because all of this is valid, but anything outside of this range is invalid. So that's what the question is trying to ask. It's like, what is the invalid range? Yep. So equivalence partitioning is about ranges. And then third question is, how can the CTFL be implemented in Agile? Lots of things. Actually, the foundation level is the very basic start of the exam. So they'll cover, like I said, like how to make a test plan, and then how to. So what are the different methodologies in software lifecycle? Like they'll cover waterfall methodology, and then Scrum, and then what are the QA roles during the software lifecycle methodology? What are the when does QA actually take part in the software lifecycle when you're in Scrum, for example? And then again, like with the different black box testing techniques, when do you use an equivalence partitioning? Like, when do you use it? Like, what kind of scenario would you use this technique? And then what kind of scenario would you use for a use case testing technique? Or maybe data table testing technique. So yeah, a lot of things that can be implemented actually. Yeah, so basically more of like key concepts, so that all QAs have the same understanding of what they're talking about. Like when I say regression testing, what am I talking about? So that's the answer.
Oke, terima kasih Mbak Mila. Super sekali jawabannya. Oke,
Masih buat pertanyaan.
masih ada pertanyaan?
Tadi mungkin tambahin buat pertanyaannya Mas Tegar ya. Ada beberapa sebenarnya yang nyediain trainingnya.
Oke.
Ya, nyediain trainingnya sekaligus ngambil sertifikatnya. Itu juga lumayan sih harganya kalau dari training ya. Tapi kalau sertifikatnya
Berapa Mas?
sekitar 8 sampai 11 ya, tergantung jumlah orang.
8 sampai 11.
Iya, teman-teman doku yang udah coba.
Oh gitu. Tapi it worth investment ya, Mbak?
Iya, buat perusahaan sebenarnya itu investasi yang bagus ya. Iya.
Dan buat kita sendiri sebagai tester itu sangat berpengaruh ya.
Sangat berpengaruh.
Artinya sangat berguna banget kalau bagi kita seorang tester tuh get certified. Oke, saya sendiri belum certified ya Mas.
Sama.
Oh sama.
Sama.
Iya. Cuma tahu harganya aja ya Mas.
Tahu harganya karena istri udah certified malah.
Certified apa ya?
Ini tadi.
Oh gitu. Salah dong Mas. Oke, oh ya tadi yang belum lihat sebenarnya caranya Mbak Mila untuk ngetes value 17 itu adalah ngetes dari angka 18 sampai 25. Kita ngetes value-value yang ada dan kita akan mendefinisikan mana yang sesuai dengan kriteria.
Ini karena pilihan ganda tadi 17 ya. Kalau misalnya pilihannya ada 16 berarti jawabannya 16 ya. Gitu. Jadi yang tidak valid ya.
Iya.
Yang tidak valid di antara 18 sampai 25.
Iya. Jadi kita akan masuk ke topik yang kedua. Nah, ini adalah $1 billion question kata Mbak Raifa. Karena semua tester, semua company ingin testernya juga menjadi seorang test engineer. Kita want to upgrade. Kita mau melihat testing